What's up everybody, Tiffany Outdoors here. Today I've been commissioned for yet another piece, so let's see if we can do this. There's the hawk. Before there was a Tiffany Outdoors, there was Tiffany the farmer.
On a U-turn when possible.
No, we're not U-turning.
Hi. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, Boo. What?
So my friend has commissioned me to make her a DVD CD rack. She has one already. It's made out of metal, but she wants one made out of wood by me. The bottom, I'm going to have the bottom of the shelf is going to have a leveling things. What are these? Leveling glides, so that it can be level wherever she's at. I don't know. Most floors are not level, so these will come in handy for that. First thing I want to do, since this is my first time doing this, before I cut the height, because y'all, I'm not good at measuring. I am not. So before I cut the height, I want to cut the width, how long is, or the width, how wide it's going to be. Alright, calm down Tiffany, calm down. I want to cut the shelves first. I'm going to cut the shelves to the width and the depth. So I've got the wood here, and that wood is 7¼ inches wide, and I need it to be maybe just over 6 inches wide. So I need to cut it this way and then cut it this way. So I'm going to take this outside. I have my AC running if you can't hear it. That's what that noise in the background is, my AC unit. I'm going to go ahead outside and cut this because I don't want a whole bunch of shop dust getting sucked into that thing. I need it working because it is hot outside. I'm going to go outside, I'm going to cut the width and the length, and I'm going to come back to you guys, okay? I'll be back in a minute. I have all of the shelves sanded and cut down to the size that they need to be. I got them all sanded up. Now I need to think about the uprights and how tall those need to be. I'm trying to think of a way to do this so that I can get my measurement accurately. Yeah, I think I got it. But let's see. Alright, so here's my measurements. This is what currently she did the measurements for me. So between these two shelves is 10 inches. There's 9 inches, 9 inches between these two. And then we got 3 at 6 inches. And then the top shelf is like just for storage. Yeah, so what I need to do, I think what I'm going to do is just lay these out. Lay the shelves out in that measurement thing. And then measure it total and see what it comes up to. Alright, so my thinking is I'll take one of these. This will be the very bottom shelf. Okay. Let's try and get this. There we go. Alright. And then alright, so there's 10 inches in between this shelf and the next one. So 10 inches there, okay. And then 9 inches and then 9 inches at the next shelf. Okay, and next shelf 9 inches. Okay, and then next shelf is 6 inches. I think this is going to work. I think this is going to be a bit taller than the one that she currently has, but I think that'll be okay with her. I will text her and make sure. I'm pretty sure that it'll be no problem. And then the next one is 6 inches. Alright, so I got 6 inch, 6 inch, 6 inch, a 9 inch, a 9 inch, and a 10 inch on the last one. Alright, so I'm going to measure from the end of my workbench to the top of this, which is right at 51.5 inches, but that top one is going to be like a storage shelf, so I think if I made it a little bit taller to give it an edge, so I can put a nice little edge on it, 4 foot 6 inches. Alright, so 4 foot 6 inches is what I need to be at. Okay, I've got the uprights, got those cut down, sanded. Now I need to think about if I want to put like an edge on this or use my router to round over the edges or put a decorative edge on it. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do want to put like an edge on the top to make it kind of like a shelf, kind of like I did for my niece's shelf. If you haven't seen that series, I'll link those videos down below. Yeah. Alright, I think I need to start with laying these back out in the dimensions and then seeing how far on the top that I can use to make some kind of a design at the top. Alright, let me set this up. To make this decorative curve, I'm just going to use the lid from a spray paint can, and I'm just going to guesstimate about making it 3/4 of the way forward. Let me show you. Let me just show you. It's too difficult to explain it. Alright. Alright. Y'all, I forgot to hit record. My goodness. Alright, so I took my framing square like this. I drew a straight line from here to here, 2 inches. And then I used this lid to make a curve, first coming this way. And then I took it, moved it to the other side of the line, and made another curve coming this way. So that you get, oh gosh. So you get dented boards. So you get this shape here. And then, let me show you up close. So, first curve, you'll put your lid here. And then on the second curve, you're going to move your lid to the opposite side of the line. And then make the curve to the top. And then what's left over right here, I'm going to cut this out with my jigsaw. I'm going to take both boards, clamp them together. That way they're exact same. And then you have 2 curves that are exact on both sides of your shelf. I've decided that I'm going to put a slight round over on the front edge of this on both sides. There we go. I did both ends. It's got that nice round look over there. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Looks nice. Takes that edge off. I'm only doing this on the front side on both ends. The back, I'm leaving it squared off and straight. Alright, let me do the other one. Alright, now that I've got everything rounded, got the edges knocked off and everything, now it's time to start putting this together. I'm going to butt the shelves up against the sides, screw them in, and then to cover up the screw holes, I'm going to use these 3/8 inch buttonhole plugs. So I think that's going to look really nice. Before I do any assembly, I need to think about painting this. Do I want to paint it first? I think I do. So let me go over here to my paint rack and see what I have available. And it's starting to sprinkle outside a little bit. So I think I'm just going to take this outside, spray paint it, put a few coats of paint on it, and then I'll bring it back in to assemble it. Alright, I'll be back. Alright y'all, I'm going to switch gears again. The wind out there is so crazy, it's blowing all over the place. I have some ebony stain. I think I'm going to stain this instead. So I can be here, and plus it's off and on, raining and kind of sprinkly out there. I'm going to go ahead and just stain the stuff with the wood ebony. So, alright. It's okay to switch gears if you have to. It's nice to have those options too. Alright, I'm going to line my workbench with some protective paper and get to work. Y'all hear that? It's raining. I made the right decision staining this inside. Alright, I've got all the shelves stained. I'm going to let these dry. This stuff takes an hour to dry, so I'm going to come back in an hour, and then I'm going to flip the boards over and then stain the ends and the other side. So this is what they look like now. Y'all, I love this stain. Look at that. You can still see the wood grain. Oh my goodness. Ooh-wee. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that wood grain, y'all. Look at all that wood grain. Yes, look at that. You can still see the knots. I really like that. And I know my friend's going to really appreciate this. She's into stuff like that too. Being able to see the wood grain and all that. She's totally into that. Alright, I'm going to, like I said, let this dry for an hour, and then I'm going to flip them over, do the other side, and then I have to do the upright. So I'll come back after all that's done, and then we start the assembly. Alright y'all, it's several days later. I got sick. I think I had the flu. Joe and I did not take our flu shots this year. Should have, didn't. Something jumped on me for like 3 days. Much better now. Out here in the shop, got the AC going. Continuing on this shelf project, y'all, there's something that I need to share with you on this. Something that I noticed, but I did make a change to make it look better. Let me explain. As I was just looking at this on how I'm going to assemble it, I looked at this and I'm like, y'all, look at this. You see this right here? It's like a gap. It's like a gap there, and it doesn't line up with the edge of this very well at all. Is it coming across on camera? There, you can see that gap now. See that gap right there? I don't like it. So I took some measurements, went to my table saw, and decided to cut just a sliver off of the shelf to bring it down and make it even with the top of this bead here. So you see how this looks. I mean, it looks okay, but in order to, I mean, it's in the small details. So it looks okay, but it could look better. So I took one of the shelves out to the table saw, cut off a sliver of it, and now it fits like this. Look at that. Doesn't that make a big difference? So now it lines up with the edge of this bead here. Let's see if I can get it here. See, it lines up with the edge of that bead there, and it looks so much better. It looks more refined and finished like this. I like that a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and cut down the rest of these shelves, and then we're going to start looking at assembling. No, first we need to put a poly coat on it. That's what I need to do first. I'm going to put some poly on it first, and then we're going to assemble. Alright, let me go cut down the rest of these shelves, and then I'll come back to you. For the top coat, I've chosen to use polyurethane. So on the uprights, I use the spray polyurethane. Those are outside drying. And then for the shelves, I'm going to use the wipe-on polyurethane. Because I want the shelves to have like a little bit more of a smoother surface. So I chose to do it this way. We'll see how it turns out. I just got this Minwax wipe-on poly, and I like to use scraps of a t-shirt, old t-shirt, all of my old t-shirts that I get rips in, that's cotton. That's what I use. And of course a glove. Alright, I got the shells all laid out. Now I'm just gonna go through and put some poly on each one, let it dry, and while it's drying I'm gonna go run some errands, and then I'll come back and put on 2 or 3 more coats. We'll see how it goes. Y'all, I'm nervous and excited all at the same time for this step. I've been looking forward to this. Alright, let's get it. Yes, look at that shiny finish. Now I'm going to go over these with some 220 grit sandpaper very lightly, and then put on a second coat. And then put on my second coat of poly. Got these sitting up on end. Gonna go ahead and let this dry overnight. We're gonna let these fully cure and dry for 24 hours. Gonna come back tomorrow and start assembly. And the uprights are drying over there, looking amazing. Look at that shine. You can see the shine from here. Beautiful. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna let these things cure overnight, and then we're gonna come back tomorrow and start assembling. Okay, next little detail to do before I assemble this. These buttons are what I'm going to use to cover up the screw holes. And I'm going to be spray painting these satin black. And while those are drying, I'm going to go ahead and start assembling our shelves and the uprights together. Y'all, I'm so excited. Alright, here's how I'm going to do this to try my best to keep everything as square as possible. So I have a clamp here, having downward pressure here, and then I have a corner clamp here, and then I have the first shelf lined up with that, and on the bottom down here I have a framing square right there to keep everything nice and square. And now I'm going to drill pilot holes here and here with countersink bits. So let's do it. My first hole, I'm kind of nervous here. I should make each one of these as even as possible going up the side too. Alright. I'm all over the place, y'all. So to make sure each screw hole is in the same spot, I'm going to use this combination square to pinpoint exactly where each one will be. Let's see. A little bit. Too close to the edge. Yeah, I'm super nervous about this wood splitting, so I'm going to drill an additional hole right in the center here into the... Okay. And I'll be using some 2-inch screws for this. There we go. Alright, here's what I'll do. I'll do this side first all the way down and then flip this over and do the second side. Alright, you guys see how I did that first hole? I'm not going to bore you and make you painfully watch me drill all these holes and figure out the exact measurements. But I'm going to go ahead and just assemble this thing and then I'll come back to you. I'm drilling the bottom set of the holes on this side. I decided to go ahead and do this side and then do the other side first. Okay, so here's my system. First, I'm going to take this level and then I'm going to square up the shelf. So I need to move it this way or this way to get it square. I need this thing to be as straight as possible. So I have my level up against it and either push or pull whichever way to get it level, and that looks good there. Now I had to do this for the first 3 because this would not fit in there, but this one will fit in there. Get this. There we go. Yep. Got to square that way. Got to square this way. Awesome and awesome. Now I'm using my combination square. That little indentation there, I'm eyeballing it. I'm eyeballing that to the middle of my screw hole here. And now I got a phone call. Okay, telemarketers, I'll tell you what. Alright, where was I? So, I'm lining up this little indentation in the middle here, like so. I'm flipping it over like so. I'm kind of eyeballing it. And then I'm going to move it up, 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 and let the combination square hang off the edge, that beaded edge there, like that, okay? Then I hold that in place with my thumb, my arthritic thumb. I found that I could put pressure on it like this, but I can't put pressure on it like this. So I'm going to hold it like so. Things about my body, y'all. And then I'm going to take my countersink bit and put it right in the middle of that, butt it up against the bottom of the combination square, get the hole started, drill the hole, sweet. Drill my pilot hole. Then insert my screw. And that's it. Bada boom, bada bing. Yes, that is my system. And so far it's working out fast and very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up these last 3 holes here. I got 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to work on the other side. Before I turn this over, I'm going to clean up these edges with some sandpaper. There's just a tiny bit of blowout in the holes, just a little bit. That's to be expected, especially with the force I'm having to put on these countersink bits. The other one that I've used before, I mean, it just drills through wood like it's nothing, but this bit, the larger one, seems to be having a little bit more trouble going through the wood. So it's causing a little bit of tear out at the hole. So I'm just gonna clean up the edges just a touch. I'm not sanding, you see what I'm doing? I'm just twisting. I'm just slowly just twisting just to clean up the edge just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect because the button is going to cover up a lot of that. So I'm just taking the little fibers and pushing them inwards, taking my thumb and just doing a small little twisting motion that you see here. That's all I'm going to do to clean these holes up, and then I'm going to flip this over and start installing the other side. Alright, I'm in the process of putting in the leveling feet. All you have to do is drill your hole, take that little guide off, put it in the hole, tap it in with the hammer, and call it a day. Let me give you the drill bit sizes. Alright, so what I did was I did start off with the countersink bit that I was using before, and then I widened the hole until I got up to a 5/16 drill bit, and then took this off, and it should just fit in the hole. Let me show you. See, it just barely fits in, and then you take your hammer and tap it on in, okay? So that's how we do that. And then put your feet on. There we go. Okay, now I got the top, this is the front side, I got the front side, now I need to do the back side. So what I need to do is make sure I'm avoiding the screw hole here, so I'm coming up just a little bit and then going with that measurement there. Okay, I'm going to clean this up and then we're going to put in our buttons. Alright, I'm going to be using some Titebond 2 glue to glue in my buttons. Here's my buttons, they're spray painted black, and I also put a coating of poly on top of this. I just used some of the spray can poly. Here's how I'm going to do this. Put me a little dab of glue here on that piece of paper, right directly there. Got me a little skewer. I'm going to put glue on the skewer, put glue in the hole, like so, and like so, and then put the button in. I want to tidy that up a bit, and then put the button in. That's it. There we go. And I'm just going to do that all the way down, and then I'll come back to you. And just like that, the shelf is done. Y'all, this looks so good. I do have some concerns. I do wish that I put the feet closer to the edge rather than the screw holes for the shelves. So if I make another one of these, I'm going to reverse the screw holes for the shelves and a foot, the leveling feet, so that the leveling feet are a little bit wider or on the outermost edges. But other than that, that's the only thing about this that I would change. That, and I would have sanded it a lot more. But y'all, this thing, I love it. Let's take a look.